Hi everyone, it's Howard the Workout Man, yet again. Today's video um, is on why I decided to stay natural. Um, First of all, again, um, I've been working out in actuality for 28 years. I'm 47 now, maybe 29 years. Um, I wouldn't say I was working out correctly at the beginning, but that doesn't matter. I've been training hard for probably 25 years. Um, and I've been very much in the bodybuilding industry, especially when I was younger. I used to work at Muscle Tech, which is now iOvate. I wrote the original marketing for Nitrotech and Cell Tech, if you know what that is. Hydroxycut had just come out when I came to the company. And pretty much everyone in that company, well, most of the people in that company at that time were into bodybuilding. So that ingrained me even more into the culture. I competed in natural bodybuilding at that time, I think 3 times. And then I did again in my later years, another 3 times in the last, let's say, 4 years. Uh, so that culture is very, very much in me. So why didn't the steroid culture ever resonate with me? I don't know if I should say this or can't say this, but I don't care. At the time when I first started working at Muscle Tech, more than half the employees were taking steroids. And I had that influence. At the gym that I was training at in Montreal prior to Muscle Tech, I would say 3/4 of West Coast gym were taking steroids, but I didn't realize it because I was so young. And I used to watch the WWF, and pretty much everybody in the WWF was taking steroids at that time. But again, I sort of realized it, but it didn't really resonate with me as something that I could consider. I couldn't really explain to you why. Except that I was very sheltered. So I was raised in a Jewish family. My parents were very anti-drug, even anti-alcohol of any kind. I went to a Jewish school. No one even smoked in my grade, I don't think. So it was just too far from reality for us, and for me to really consider, especially at that time. Just on an interesting note, West Coast gym, everybody was huge, huge. I remember 2 guys that were training there, Gary and Peter, that were pushing 300 pounds. They're pretty lean. They looked like wrestlers. Honestly, that gym was it was like being in the WWE um, in the 80s. It was so crazy. And I was a kid when I was there. It was weird because the Jewish community what was bordering on sort of the poorer community. So the gym was kind of a cross section of both. It was very interesting. Anyways, so here I am. I'm 47 now. I've never taken any exogenous hormones, even though I was totally in that industry. Um, so what is the end result? I've managed to stay very lean, which is cool. It looks great on camera when you're lean, and that's fine. I only weigh between 160 and 165, so I'm really not huge. My legs have never really been very big, although they're very lean. Um, when you're in public and you're wearing a sweater or a shirt, you just look fit. You don't really look huge like guys on steroids do. That's the biggest downside to not having juiced. With my shirt off, with the tank top, because I'm so lean, really it looks just as good. I actually prefer the look um, compared to being super big and super lean. I think this just looks very healthy and fit. Um, some of the big positives of not juicing. Well, number one, health. There's all these bodybuilders, dropping dead now. Now, doesn't mean you're going to drop dead if you take steroids, if you take them right. Even TRT and HRTs. I mean, there's some people making arguments that it's actually healthy. Um, that's possible, but here's the other issue besides health. Um, your whole training regimen starts to become dependent on how much on the quantity of steroids that you take. And without increasing your quantity, or at least taking the same quantity, it just becomes impossible to get bigger. Whereas when you're natural, it's all dependent on you. which to me, I'm much more into. I like pushing myself. I like the journey as much as I enjoy the destination. Like I love going to the gym. I love making my program. I love thinking about what it is I'm going to eat. Um, I honestly love that. That whole play the Rocky music and go through those motions and push yourself a little bit further. That really sort of turns my crank. I feel like with steroids, it would just be steroids turning my crank. So to me, that's probably the biggest thing. The other thing is that once you start to take them, you don't really have to, but you may feel the need to take them forever, at least in low doses. That's another big negative. I don't want to be dependent on anything if I can avoid it. And then another thing is once you start to get too big, you no longer fit into the mainstream. You know, if my shoulders were like this, if I even if I was 30 pounds heavier, um, I don't think I would have been so successful at being a professional. I don't think I would have been so identifiable to people. I just would have been at this, weird meathead level that sort of people don't get. Um, I'm not saying you have to always be the same as other people, but I'm saying it helped me fit in my professional life, and I think that's a very important thing if you want to have a balanced life. Anyways, I certainly have no regrets about not taking them. Once in a while, I think it'd be nice to be 10 pounds heavier, um, just so, I see people like The Rock on TV, and everyone's like, "Ugh, The Rock's so big, oh, so great." And they don't understand that he's been taking drugs for the last 25 years to get like that. So sometimes, once every month, I might get on these weird tangents, where I'm like, uh, you know, it's not fair. I work just as hard, and people don't, people don't see it as people don't see the same thing at all. But then I remember every, the other 28 or 29 days of the month that still look great. I'm still super lean, and that I did it all on my own. And then the other thing is that you can draw satisfaction from working hard and seeing a result. And that transcends to other aspects of life. I think it transcends a lot more when you do it without steroids and you do it all on your own. Anyways, make your own decision. Um, that's just been my experience. It's Howard the Workout Man. Cheers.